What's up, everybody? Zach here, coming to you with day 12 of Musical Memories. And today's song is called Maybe It's Crazy. And so, yeah, here we go, guys. So today, the song we're revisiting isn't a song I wrote in 2019. It was right before I was about to go to Ghana, Africa for my first overseas long-term missions experience. And that summer was a big time because it was a time where I was dreaming big, right? And I was actually, that summer I was dreaming big things in my life in different ways. Like there were some ways I was dreaming for big things that actually never happened and they're never going to happen. But then there's other ways that summer where I was dreaming of big things that God actually did bring to pass. And in my life, I've seen that happen both times, right? There's been times where I thought God was telling me something and then I found out, oh, actually I'm wrong. And maybe I am just crazy on this thing. It wasn't actually God. But then there's other times where God speaks something to us that seems crazy, and then it actually happens. And the crazy thing about God is like sometimes you don't know which one it is, right? And so this worship song, Maybe It's Crazy, is about the Bible characters who do straight up crazy things on account of God telling them to do them, right? You see like David beats Goliath. He's like this little guy, beats a big guy. Mary has a kid when she's never had sex before as a virgin. That's insanity. It doesn't make sense by all scientific principles. Or like Noah, like builds an ark for years and years and years when it's never even rained before. Like these people are psychotic by human standards, but by God's standards, they are obedient and they're following through on what God's called them to do, even if it doesn't seem to make a lot of sense. And then the chorus of the song is actually all about Joseph, because Joseph has this dream when he's a kid that his brothers are going to bow down and worship him. And his brothers are pissed at him for this. They're angry at him. They're like, you're psychotic, brother. Like, why do you think this is true? He gets thrown in jail. He gets thrown in a pit. He gets thrown into slavery. He goes through all this stuff for his whole life, which makes it seem like, yeah, you were just a crazy kid who had a dream when you were younger. Like that's what his whole life shows him. But then in the end of the story, he becomes like a leader in Egypt, and his brothers actually bow down to him years and years and years later. And it shows that, wow, that dream that seemed like it was just you being psychotic, Joseph, was actually was prophetic for what God was going to do in the future. But it didn't happen until years and years and years down the line that it came true. And so like it shows that the voice of God, sometimes seems crazy, but it's actually real. And so when God tells you something that seems unreal and impossible, hold on to it and see, maybe it will be him. But also the bridge of the song is about even if, right? And so like when I sing the bridge of the song, it's about even if God doesn't come through, I'm still going to stay faithful to him. And that comes out of the fiery furnace story where Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego get thrown in the fiery furnace because like they refuse to bow down to the idols of the king at the time, Nebuchadnezzar. And they say, we're not going to bow down. We're going to stay loyal to God. And even if he doesn't save us when you throw us in the fire, we're still going to be faithful. And so that part of the song goes into like, even if I am just crazy, even if what I think I'm doing for God is actually just going to lead to my death, or like it's not going to lead to any fruitfulness whatsoever, I'm going to stay true to my conviction that this is God to the very end. And sometimes that does lead to death. Like that part of the song says, even if your will is to die in the fire or slaughter a son, because Jesus got slaughtered, or Abraham was like on the altar, like sacrificing Isaac. And even if he wants to give grace to the sinner, even if we get stoned, like Stephen got stoned for staying faithful to God, like staying faithful to God doesn't always mean you get the good thing you want. And sometimes the craziness leads to no earthly reward, right? But sometimes it leads to the breakthrough. And so the song to me in that time was an encouragement that like, I'm going to be crazy for Jesus. I'm either going to find his fulfillment, or I'm going to find that, oh wait, actually that wasn't Jesus, and I'm going to find him in another way now. By just like taking those bold steps of faith, because that's what you got to do. You got to take those bold steps, and that's how you find out what is the voice of God and what isn't. You have to try, you have to follow through, and you have to believe. So yeah, that's what I'm here for. I know that was a longer intro than usual, but this song is just like, it's very, very, it's close to my heart because it speaks to stuff that isn't really talked about much. Like we don't talk about God as this, like the miracles of God is psychotic, but they are psychotic by all worldly standards. They are psychotic. But yet they happened. And so there's no way to dismiss that they happened and that God can do psychotic things. And so maybe it is a little crazy what we do for God or what God does for us. But it's a beautiful thing to be celebrated. So let's dive in, shall we? Maybe it's crazy a virgin can have a baby. It's crazy to say the world will flood when it's never once rained. It's crazy to say a dead man can rise after rotting for days. But even though these things seem crazy, you made them happen, so why can't you do it for me? I got a crazy dream, a lot like Joseph. Wait, I've got a crazy dream, a lot like Joseph. Wait, what is the chords? I've got a crazy dream, a lot like Joseph did. There it is. But his friends threw him out. No one believed in him. However, in the end, you proved his dream was true. But even if my dream is not God, I will still believe in you. Oh. Maybe it's crazy to expect to win a battle with a sling and a stone, and it's crazy thought of walking on water without sinking below, and it's crazy asking tax collectors, thieves, and traders into your family. But even though these things seem crazy, you made them happen, so why can't you do it for me? I've got a crazy dream, a lot like Joseph did. But his friends threw him out, no one believed in him. However, in the end, you proved his dream was true. But even if my dream is not God, I will still believe in you. Oh, I will still believe. Even if your will is to die in the fire, even if your will is to slaughter a son, even if you want to give grace to the sinner, God, no matter the cost, we know your will's the best one. Even if I get stoned for the sake of the gospel, even if I fall flat on my face and I'm wrong, even if all my dreams are just mine and I'm crazy, even then I'll still sing you the praise in this song. There it is. 'Cause I've got a crazy dream, a lot like Joseph did. But his friends threw him out, no one believed in him. But in the end, you proved his dream was true. But even if my dream is not God, I will still believe. I've got a crazy dream, a lot like Joseph did. But his friends threw him out, no one believed in him. However, in the end, you proved his dream was true. But even if my dream is not God, I will still believe in you. Oh, I will still believe. Yeah, I don't know. There wasn't a good ending note there, but there you go. That's the song today, guys. Yeah, so just an encouragement, like whatever you're doing for the Lord, like even if it seems crazy, stick with it. Keep dialoguing with him, and like he'll show you. Like I said, like that summer, there were ways that, you know, I thought were God, that I wanted him to do things, and I had to let go of those things. But there were also ways that, you know, I felt crazy living for Jesus, and then I saw those things come to pass in my life. And so you got to continue the dialogue, and there's still a lot of open-ended questions too. There's things that I still feel crazy about sometimes, like even being here in Waukesha, like, you know, wanting to pray and worship over every street and start a house of prayer here and see that happen. Like it seems so out of reach and impossible, and maybe it is just me being crazy, I don't know, or maybe it's gonna happen. And so we'll have to see. But I'm gonna stay faithful, and that's what I encourage you to do too. If he's put something on your heart, stay faithful, even if you might get weird looks, even if it might not come to pass. Like, be faithful to what God's called you to. And, you know, as we saw for many of those biblical characters, they see the reward, and the ones that don't, even the ones like Stephen that gets stoned, like, you know, there's reward in just living it to the very end, the last breath for Jesus, no matter the cost. So that's what I got, guys. See you tomorrow for another one.